Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Colleen and I'm pleased that you found this channel and that you're watching this video today. Today I'm working on a really simple dinner just for myself and my niece, and it's something you can throw together pretty quickly. I think it's reasonably healthy, and I know that both of us enjoy it. So I had to come up with something quick. So I went through the fridge and found what was left over of this and that. So this is what we came up with for this meal. And we're going to make a kind of our version of a fajita. I don't know what a proper fajita would look like, but this is our version of it based on the package directions, basically. So I'll gather up the things to get started, and I'll be right back after this. Okay, I think we're pretty much set up. I'm going to use my frying pan today, my electric frying pan, because it's not going to make, I'm going to get it sitting here first. It's not going to make a huge amount. If I were making this for the three of us for a dinner, then I would get out a bigger pan, or I have a wok that sits on top of my stove that I would get out. But as it's just the two of us, I'm going to just use the electric frying pan. And I know it makes a little noise, but I know that this is a quick, easy recipe, so it won't torture you too long. So I'm going to start off by putting the cloth down on my cutting board, because I'm going to cut some things and I know that that can be quite noisy. I'm going to start off today with two cutting boards, because I'm going to use one for cutting chicken and the other one I'm going to use to cut vegetables, and I don't want to stop and wash in between. I don't think there's any good reason for you to watch me wash my dishes as well. So I'll start off with the chicken, because it's going to be the first thing that we cook. And this is where the leftover part came from. We made a dish yesterday that we needed some chicken breasts for, but I had this small bit of chicken. It's maybe the smallest breast ever, and then just a smaller chicken breast. Well, no, I guess it's about regular sized. It has the tenderloin part here too, the tender. I'm just going to remove this white bit, which always seems to be tough. Must be a tendon, and it's tough in the chicken, so let's remove that out of there. And I want these to be strips, because we're going to put this into wraps, so I want to be able to wrap it. Now, my husband's preferred way of eating this is just as a pile of peppers and chicken on his plate. He skips the wrap part, and part of the reason for that is that oftentimes these wraps can drip, and he prefers not to have drippy things. So here we go. So I'm just cutting them in strips against the grain if I can. And I'm going to leave them about that size. I wouldn't want to make them any bigger than that, because the wraps that I have are small. And we remember that this will shrink a little bit too. So this would be good for even a single person to make who wanted a little bit of leftover. Like if you were going to make this for your dinner, and then you had a little bit left over for lunch the next day. Because while it doesn't hold up perfectly, it can certainly hold up long enough for that if you refrigerate it and then just gently reheat it. So there's our chicken. I'm going to wash my hands. There's going to be a little bit of hand washing going on here. Wash my hands, salt and pepper this, get it into the frying pan. And one of the problems that people face when they're making fajitas or using chicken breasts in this way is that they overcook it. And this is only going to take maybe 3 minutes per side to cook these because they're nice and thin. And they are going to go back into the pan afterwards too, so you don't want to overcook them at this first stage. So let me wash up and we'll get back. Let's get this pan going. I'm going to add, I'm going to set it at about 350 degrees, which is pretty warm. I'm adding probably, I don't know, 2 tablespoons of oil to the pan. And I'm going to add some pepper and salt. And I'm just going to turn this bag inside out to have the chicken breast in it. Stick my hand through it here so that I can use it a bit like a glove so that I can rub that in. Yeah, just a little bit more salt, but I don't want to add too much salt at this stage because we're going to be using a package of Fajita Seasoning, and very often these seasonings are quite salty, so I'm going to hold back the temptation to salt that heavily, and I'm just going to start laying this chicken into the pan. And because there isn't that much, I should be able to have the chicken all in the pan without doing it in batches. But if you were cooking for a crew, you might have to do it in batches. So don't be afraid to do that either. And there we go. Look at that. So I don't know how long that took. This is the trash part, so I'm just going to pick it up with the glove. Bring the bag back around, seal that up, and it's going to go in my garbage can. And this can go to the sink. Now, while the chicken is cooking, I'm going to prepare the other things because this truly does not take a whole lot of time. So I have a small onion here. If you were making like a full batch where you were using 3 or 4 chicken breasts, you would definitely want to have a bigger onion. And you would want to add maybe 2 to 3 pieces of whole peppers instead of just like the 1 and a little bit that I have. This was left over from last night, and so I have that much pepper to work with. So I'm just going to cut these into not fine, but into strips as well. This is no time to get fancy, although if you wanted to, there's no reason why you couldn't. And then I'm going to just trim this up a bit because it did dry out a little bit in the fridge. I'm going to take out this white membrane because it's kind of soggy at this point, and then I'm ready to go. I'm just going to grab the splatter guard. There we go. It was spitting at me. I'm sure that the noise is probably amplified. I was trying to decide whether or not to put the microphone on, but I thought, well, it'll just amplify the noise that's in the pan. Now, to give you an idea how fast that is, that chicken is almost half cooked already. So this is where we have to get to work to have everything ready. Now there's tons of different ways to cut peppers. Sometimes I just cut them up like I did. Sometimes I cut around them. I'm not really stuck on one method of doing most things. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to cut these into strips. Actually, the vegetables take as long to cook as the chicken, more actually, I think a bit longer. You want them tender crisp, or if you prefer to have your vegetables to be really cooked, you can leave them as long as you like. Okay, I'm just going to turn this chicken over. Use my tongs for that. You can see that that it's white more than halfway up the chicken piece. So that tells me that it's halfway through. And all I need to do now is to turn it. And lift that piece. And there we go. Now, we've got that ready. I don't know if it could get easier than that. We're going to have this little bit of leftover cucumber on our plates as well. So I'm just going to cut. Actually, Peyton prefers things to be cut in points, so that's how I'll cut them. Just so you have an idea. I have an extra vegetables today just because we're trying to clean up what's in the fridge. Some days that can be a chore, trying to create a new meal over what you have left over in the fridge. But something like this goes pretty quick. And I can hear, I use my ears a lot in cooking. And if you do, you notice that when it starts to get quieter, it's because the moisture has been cooked out. So it's probably cooked. And so I feel like that's the case with this chicken. It always takes less time on the second side. And you can hear the volume coming down. So, I wish I'd have set a timer so I knew how long this took. But you guys will be able to tell because I'm doing this in real time. Except I might cut out my walk over to get the splatter card. But other than that, I'm cooking this in real time for you. Okay. Gotten quite quiet. So out comes the chicken. I'm just going to put it into a bowl to hold it. I'm going to add just a little bit more oil to the pan, maybe another tablespoon. And then I'm going to put in the peppers and onions. Now, as I said, I don't know if this is traditional or not. This is just how we make it because when I first started making it, I made it according to the instructions on the back of the package. Now this is a different brand, but it says on the back of this package, how to prepare it. You need 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, 1 pound of sliced chicken breast, 1 sliced onion, 1 sliced red or green pepper, and one package of compliments. That's the name brand of this, but you can use whatever brand. And then your flour tortillas. So it couldn't get much simpler. I'm going to keep moving these veggies around. And it will take a couple minutes for them to start to soften. So while that's on the go, I'm going to go get the tortillas and the scissors, and I'm going to cut this bag, and I'm going to get some plates so that when everything's ready, we can just get it all done. I'm going to move this stuff to the back here, set out of our way. I'll be right back. Now I just have these small flour tortillas, and if you're making them for a dinner, and you may want to have bigger size ones, but these ones work perfectly for Peyton and I. So they are 10 of them. I don't know, it doesn't say what size they are, but I'm going to guess at around 8 inches. If I think my fingers span 9 inches, so about 8 inches. I'm just going to throw a couple of them out here onto a plate. And when this gets close to being ready, I'm going to throw them in the microwave for a moment just to keep them through. I'm going to let that go a little bit longer, but I can see the peppers are already starting to soften and the onions taking on color. So we're getting there pretty quickly. Okay, so I'm going to put these into the microwave like 10 seconds, maybe even less, just enough to soften them, warm them. You will want to warm them. There we go. I'm going to put one on Peyton's plate and one for me. And then she'll fix her own. I'm going to give this one last stir. And you might see, if I can get a grip on this, you'll see a bit of color on the peppers, which is just great. I don't mind that at all. Now I'm going to shut this off, and we're going to assemble this. I'm going to bring the plate over here, and I'm going to add some peppers and the onion mixture. I'm going to add a few pieces of chicken. And I have an open jar of mild, chunky salsa. You use whatever brand you like. Oh my gosh, did you guys just see that? I forgot to add the fajita. Huh. Well, all is not lost. We're going to dump that back in there. We're going to turn this pan back on. Maybe I was just going a little too fast. A little too big for my britches there. I'm going to add in the fajita, and because this isn't a full batch, I am not going to add the full packet, but most of it, I guess. I'm going to add the chicken in. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I did that. But, as I said, all is not lost. We will just carry on like we're in our right minds or something. Okay, so I'm going to give this a good spin about. Make sure everything gets coated with the seasoning. Now, I like to add a little bit of water just to help loosen it up long enough to make sure everything gets coated. And then I allow that to steam off, or mostly steam off. So that'll just take another minute. While it's doing that, I just wanted to say that my heart goes out to the people of Florida that are in the path of Milton. I think by tonight or tomorrow morning, the hurricane will have landed, and I'm praying for all the people that are affected by this hurricane, and I continue to pray for the ones from the previous Hurricane Helene. We're a long ways from those places, and so far we haven't had those extreme weather events, but we are all part of the human race, and I appreciate that everybody faces tough things. So, if you have a mind to pray, please pray for the people of Florida. Okay, I'm going to shut this back off, because now I really think I'm ready. And I'm going to ladle some of this on there. And even at that, for two of us, that's quite a lot. So you could definitely do this with one chicken breast and one pepper, so that, you know, if you're just a single person living alone and you do not know what to make for dinner, but you feel like you have to make an effort once in a while to have a meal that could be good for you, and this could be the ideal thing. So I'm going to go back. Oh, I've added this. I think Peyton and I are going to have to share this tiny little bit of sour cream that's left. And I know she likes it too, so I'll make sure there's some left for her. And there we go. We're ready to wrap that up and eat it. And then on the side, I'm going to just add a handful of cucumbers onto my plate. There is our version of a fajita. Now, if you're somebody whose culture actually makes fajitas, drop me a note and let me know if this is anything similar to what you make. And also for those of you who don't like to use these packaged mixes, I find they make my life easy and I don't use them very often, so I don't worry about them too much. But I'm going to try and link a fajita seasoning that you can make yourself if you want to go through those steps. I'll try and link one in the description box below. So folks, I hope that you're having a good week wherever you are. And again, my heart goes out to those people that are facing Milton as we move along. And I just pray that everything, that people will be safe and well. I'm stumbling on my words, but I feel really strongly about it. So I hope that you all have the best week you can possibly have. And I look forward to seeing you again really soon on the next video. And until then, folks, take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Peyton, dinner's ready.